Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Cole Obarts Entertainment, providing amusement, celebration, and distraction since 2013. To find out more, visit us on the web at www.coleobartsent.com.
I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days. I am so excited for our next guest. He's one of our season 1 alumni, and he is rocking out there in the Arizona community. Let's welcome Mr. TJ Supa.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing,
man?
dear? How you doing?
Good,
It's
good.
beautiful to see you again.
Oh, great to
Excellent,
see you.
excellent,
Loving
excellent.
that red.
I'm gonna sit right here. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, you
Okay,
sit right there.
right here.
TJ, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to see you and see everything that you're doing out there on social media. You are a busy man.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on right now.
Yes.
A lot of things going on right now.
Yes, but one of the best things is this your anniversary.
It is our anniversary, right? We have just crossed into 14 years in operation in radio. I do a radio show, and I own a radio station, and I also do a video show. But so 14 years in operation on the radio on the radio station. It's a worldwide broadcast. Like we've expanded to over 100 stations. We broadcast on over 100 radio stations across the world now. And it's excellent. The interviews have been excellent, and we're celebrating 14 years today. I'm excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations. He's too young for that. 14 years.
Right. I started when I was 1.
I know. TJ, that is exciting.
Yeah.
And you know what? People don't know all the work, the blood, sweat, and tears you put into 14 years. Wow.
Yeah.
For our guests that don't, I don't know who don't know TJ
Right.
Supa, but just give us a little bio of how you got started in this industry.
Yeah, and this is I'm gonna condense this because it's this whole thing. I think I wrote that it feels like a really long movie, a really long action-packed film. You know what I mean? But I started in the industry. I loved hip hop at 10 years old. I loved it. I saw a Run DMC video. And I just
Can't
and it's
you
like
tell?
Yeah, it's like the whole you gotta see all the stripes, you know what I mean? It's like the entire world just stopped, like literally the world stopped and everything froze, and the only thing that was happening was the video Rockbox playing on the screen, and I'm watching this and I'm amazed, you know what I mean? And I think somewhere after that, somewhere in the vicinity of seeing that, me and my brother would start writing. My brother, Chris Rogers, we would just start writing just little battle raps back and forth. And we would do all kinds of creative things, like get all of our records and tapes and record them on another tape to pretend like we were playing radio station or something like that. And then this just, over the course of time, continued to develop, into going into high school, rapping throughout the rest of elementary school, going into high school and rapping and battling everybody, going to high school, and then leaving high school. I remember I was like a lot of kids, it was different back then, but I was like a lot of kids. I'm like, yo, you know what? I don't want to go to school no more. I went to school for 12 years. I'm tired. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stop. And mom was like, no, you need to go to college. Just take one class. And I'm like, okay. And I couldn't
Mom
find...
said take one class.
She said take one class.
Put your toe in the water.
Right. Big salute to mom. That thing mom told me changed my entire life. So it's always a thousand loves for mom.
Yeah.
But I said, okay, cool. So I took the music business class. The music business class was a class that did it. That led into me getting into music business, then going to another school for music and learning more about that, and then conservatory recording arts, and then that led to me getting an internship at Jive Records in New York, and then another big recording studio, and then working for CNC Music Factory and all these other crazy things that just were kind of
that one class.
That one class literally
Yes.
sparked all these things. You know what I mean? So. All those things happen, and those are the steps that led to everything else happening. My brother did well too. My brother actually went into film, so he actually
Okay.
started working on film. He's in Hollywood now, editing projects and stuff. So
Congratulations to you both.
I assume he's doing good.
Yes.
I assume.
You know what? In family, you know if they're not.
Yeah, I think he's doing good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so that's those are the things that kind of led to everything, everything here. It was a long time ago. I don't quite remember how long.
Right.
Maybe I remember how long, but it's not proper for television. So I won't say the years.
A lot of the things you're talking about here that got
Right.
you here today
Right,
is your childhood love, your things you were passionate about as a child.
right,
And when we're a kid, we do things we're passionate about, say sewing, or we're passionate about performing or whatever it may be.
Right.
But as a kid, sometimes we're told that's what you do as a kid,
right.
but then you have to go to school and be an adult and go and get
Yeah.
a real job.
Yeah, yeah,
But see, what you're showing young people
Right,
is
right.
that those passionate things
yeah,
can be that real job, that real
Right.
career.
right.
And I love that you're showing that.
And even bigger than that, it could be part of the purpose. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Of what you're supposed to be working on. Like as a kid, I remember going to like the counselors and they'd be like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to be a rapper, a doctor, and a lawyer." You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And they'd be like, "What's your backup plan?" You know what I'm saying? So, but I remember working in music and then in everything, especially in creative arts, because sometimes creative arts sustain you and then sometimes they don't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
right.
And I remember going through some of the more difficult, the ups and downs of creative arts. And I remember I got to a period where it was like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing music. I'm going to stop and I'm going to step away from it and all this other stuff. And I remember God telling me like, no, you're not. Like, actually, I put you in music for this many years because I wanted you to be in music.
Right.
So that's where I want you to stay.
Right.
And I listened to him, of course, and I stayed and we're here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that I've been able to touch a lot of people working inside of this, working in this arena, even if it wasn't directly music related.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
I think,
right.
so whatever's happening, I'm supposed to be where I'm at.
Mm.
'Cause-
Well, they say music is good for the soul.
Yes.
And I truly believe that. And I strongly believe that's why God placed you there.
Yeah.
To be, I'm going to say soul savers, but to be a part of that.
Right.
That it's I always feel that it's bigger than us.
Right. Right.
And I think once we get to that point to realize that it's bigger than us,
Right.
that's when we start to succeed and do the things we're supposed to do.
Right. Right.
So, tell us about what TJ expect. You done did this for 14 years. What is your expectations for the next 5 years for yourself?
That's an interesting question. And I don't have a solid answer for that, but I do expect that this path that I'm on and these things that I'm on, I expect to be doing them for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I kind of look at this thing as like a mission almost.
Mhm.
And this is what I'm on earth to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm going to continue to be doing this as long as I expect to be here continuing to do it. You know what I mean? So, every time we seem to hit a goal, every time I seem to lay out a goal, we cross the goal, and it's like when you think of a race, you think of like, what does a runner do when he crosses the goal line? Like he stops running. You know what I mean? And the thing was, I wasn't going to stop running because there wasn't going to be a finish line. There was going to be so whenever we hit a goal, it was like, okay, well, what's the next one? Make the next one, make the next one. So it keeps me kind of innovative. I think it keeps me young at heart. You know what I mean? Because I'm always looking to chase something or do something greater or expand in some way.
Right.
So
and then you have the thing of technology.
Technology,
changes
yes.
in technology, which forces you to grow and
Yes,
learn and
yes.
be able to and at the stage in your business,
Right.
be that mentor or that teacher to
Right.
those that's up under you, because it's not just TJ. TJ has levels here
Right.
and has a crew.
Right.
as they was call them, a crew that
Right.
that those things are trickling down to.
Yeah.
So everything that you have in here, it has to go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes to my crew. Big salute to the people that I work with, man. I love them to death. I have a lot of people that I end up working with for long periods of time, years and years. And, I remember like when I was at the beginning of this point in this particular thing, I remember I was having a meeting and I kind of drew a picture of like this Voltron like robot, and I called it like,
name in a
right,
long time.
I called it the Super Music Megazord. That's what I called it. And I kind of described it as like, I wanted to work with people who were really good at what they did, because I feel like iron sharpens iron,
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And like, I never wanted to be around people and then, oh, they're good at this, so it intimidates me. Like, because I feel like I'm good too, you know what I mean?
Right.
But them being good pushes me to continue to
Right.
also be good. And if we're good in different areas, then that's great. But I always looked at like, okay, I have a lot of great people around me and I consider them like lions. And I felt like alone, they can still do a lot of beautiful things. You know what I mean? But together we can take down enemies
I see that.
that we wouldn't normally be able
I just
to.
had this visual.
Yeah, right.
I love the way you describe that, because that's the way I foresee a strong team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And just like I said, the team has been beautiful, and there's some things on the short horizon that we're looking forward to getting into. And then of course there's some projects that we've been working on that that are on the way that haven't come yet. You know what I mean?
So in the business that you're in,
Right.
and here being in the Arizona market, I know
Right.
you're not just local, you're all over the
Yes,
place.
all over.
TJ is all over there. So, a lot of times people are intimidated by competition,
Yeah,
or they spend a lot of time being concerned about competition.
right.
How do you deal with that?
What's interesting is that the world that we created, I say like World Supa, I'll call it that for the sake of understanding, but it doesn't really exist inside of that world. So our regular day-to-day operations, there's nobody like jealous of another person nobody feels like that, because like everybody is appreciated and everybody's loved inside of that world. So it's interesting because I'll hear stories about it when I'm talking to like a friend, and they'll be like, yeah, I was working with them and they don't want to help me out because of this. And it's like, oh, like I forgot about that, because that doesn't really happen inside of
And
the
you know
world.
where that comes from, even if it's in corporate world
Right.
or in
Yes.
entertainment, that stems from the top.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah.
What you do at the top trickles down.
Yeah.
So there's none of that because of you.
Yeah, and I never thought about it like that. But yeah, like, all of the people, when I start doing work with someone, I approach them with the idea, like, even if they're coming to me like, yo, TJ, how can I help, or how can I be a part of what you're doing? I look at it like, what is it that I'm able to do for them? Because I don't want it to be like a situation where I'm just receiving something. You know what I mean? Like, if they're doing work to help expand this dream or bring this dream or help us touch more people, then I want to be able to give them something like, okay, well, what area do you work in? You work in this area? Maybe there's some doors we can open for you in that area. Maybe there's a publication we can get you in. Maybe there's some, radio attention we can get you. You know what I mean? So I try to feed that back into the people that I work with. I had the question arises, like, if you had a superpower, like, what would it be? You know what I mean? And I can fly and all that stuff too, but that's cool. But I think interestingly enough, like the one that God made the most prominent for me was it was a superpower of the power is that if I work with other people, it makes them stronger. So the power was a power to help make other people around me more powerful.
Right. So you need. It sounds like the plan that was planned for you.
I learned the plan.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I learned it.
And I think once we get to that point is where we will see that smoothness and
Yeah.
things are going the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I would even say I would see the rise then. I would see the rise then. So I usually approach it, I usually approach something not with the idea of what am I going to receive from it, but what can we do to expand this? What can we do to, you know what I mean? And then it usually just works itself out on the other side.
I love it. You know what? Because with all the negativity and all the pain that we have in the world right now, to see that people are out here still trying to better our communities and help each other, spread love, and be of assistance to others, no matter what it is we're doing. I love that you're doing that, and hopefully we'll have others that see you and listen to this interview and take heed to that message.
Yes.
Because we need more of this.
Yeah. Anything that I'm able to do that is able to help move something forward or help somebody, I think is a beautiful thing.
Well, speaking of helping, I know that also, although you work with your team and you have your shows, Rock the Mic.
Your Rock the Mic show, music videos.
But you've also been an asset to filmmakers with music. Tell us about that.
Right. I have a big salute to there's a couple films that I did some work in this year. I was in The Unhitched King by iRock.
Okay.
I appeared in a club scene for a couple of seconds. So big salute out to him and everything.
That was a really
good
movie too.
Yes, there's another film that I'm working on, and I don't know how deep I can talk about it. You know what I mean? So
we can go high level.
We can go. We can talk a little bit about it. It's a film named Prankster.
Yes.
You know what I mean? An interesting film. I want you guys to look out for it. Directed by George Obarts. I think you're familiar with him. You met him before. You met him before, right? Okay. So
very cool guy.
Yeah, really cool guy. It's interesting because it's like I don't have any photos with him, and I feel like he's like, yo, TJ, I can't take photos with you until you get cooler. You know what I'm saying? So I feel what I have to do is I got to sneak up behind him and just get a selfie. Yeah, I'm gonna get a selfie.
We're gonna have to do something about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that. So I've got to do that. So, but that's gonna be coming out sometime soon. Yeah. And I don't have a solid date on there, but that's gonna be coming out sometime soon. I did a lot of work in.
What is your approach when you are asked to be a part of something like that? There's a movie. Let's say if it's a comedy or prankster sort of comedy. What is your approach on deciding what music you would place with that? How do you go by that?
It's usually a process where, as I'm sitting and watching, I initially think about, what do I have available? Like, what artists are available? What artists do I know I can go to them, get music from and not have to jump through 1,000 loops? Because, we have there's of course a timeline when you're working with these projects too. And then, and which people am I going to work with that aren't going to be a hassle? So once that's there, then I have a group of artists that I know I can work with. And then a lot of it is going to come down to seeing what the media is about, seeing what the film is about, and seeing which songs are going to fit inside of the scene. So it may be sitting there watching the film thinking, wait a second, okay, this song from this artist will fit inside the scene. And that's kind of the process that I go through in doing it. It's like watching a film like 1,000 times until you kind of find enough stuff to place to line up all the scenes and everything. Music and sound with film is significant. It makes a difference. If you watch a film and you imagine watching a scary movie, you turn off the sound. It's not really that scary because the sounds are the thing
that makes the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
TJ, you celebrating your 14th year anniversary. You've been in Arizona how long now?
Golly, it's been a long time. Definitely at least 14 years. No, it's been I think I moved back here from New York about 20 years ago. 20 years ago I moved back here from New York. Yeah.
Okay. So with Arizona, they passed the incentive for the filmmakers and which is a plus for hopefully for Arizona filmmakers and everyone else associated with it. As far as music, what is it that you would like to see here in Arizona for the music industry?
When I think about the music industry, I think about it more on first and national, and then more of a global scale.
Okay.
What I feel like is one of the issues here specifically with music is that when people think about music here, they think about it on a city to statewide scale. And I feel like that if you were looking at the globe, it would be like saying, you know what, I'm gonna take this song I have and I'm gonna promote it to the 48th state with one of the smallest music markets in America, and I'm gonna push it there in 2 cities, and I'm gonna blow up. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
I feel like you have an entire at least nation.
It sounds like you're saying get out of that local mindset.
Yeah, come out of the box. That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
right.
And I think that, you know, we've seen a lot of success coming outside of the box, and I feel like the artists that will see success are the artists that go outside of the box.
Right.
And the artists that choose not to go outside of the box will not see anything but local success,
Right.
other than, you know, like a lottery win fluke.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless that's what they want.
If that's what they want,
That's all
right?
they want.
Right.
Well, come on outside the box. It's fun.
Come out the box.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here today. And thank you for joining us here at Desertwood Days. And we'll catch you next time.
Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Cole, Obarts Entertainment. Providing amusement, celebration, and distraction since 2013. To find out more, visit us on the web at www.coleobarts.com.